And these two AFC powerhouses have met in the postseason before, once in the 1981 Divisional Round and then again in the 1988 AFC Championship. Cincinnati winning both of those meetings, but will the Bengals come out victorious for a third time? Our friends over at Caesars have Buffalo as 5-point favorites. Bills head coach Sean McDermott at the podium just moments ago ahead of Sunday's matchup. Let's take a listen.
I don't want to say it's an unfair question, Josh, because he's young, right? He's in his first year, so we're really still learning who he is and on the field, off the field. That happens during the first year where you're seeing players in practice, you're seeing players off the field, you're then seeing them in games, regular season and now postseason, and really he's revealing himself to us, and we're, our awareness is heightening in terms of who he is. So I think it's all good stuff. His work ethic was noticeable right from the start. I know it's been well documented what he did at the combine with his notebook and everything, and probably blown out of proportion a little bit with respect, of course, with Kyer. But he puts in the time, and I think if you want more, you got to put in more time, and he puts in that time.
Were you pretty confident the whole time that you would get there eventually, just because of the work that he was putting in?
Well, I think "get there" is a loose term, right? So talking about a first-year player, and it's like it is for all of us. We're always trying to improve, always trying to grow. You never really get there, and when you think you're there is when you're not there. So I think that process of just continuing to push, continuing to learn, continuing to stay humble and hungry is an important mindset.
What have you seen out of Dawson the last stretch?
Yeah, I think confidence and Josh and Doss being on the same page with things and extremely comfortable with one another and where Doss is going to be, and I think that just that rapport that those two have is very strong.
What did you think of the blitz pickup by Devin and Cook?
Oh man, it was. I mean, they were bringing some pressure, and I thought all of our backs did a really good job. And in particular, Devin did a strong job. He played really strong this past week. I was proud of him, and he's a big component to our offense.
John, was there a sense from you and your coaching staff that you kind of dodged a bullet on maybe the turnovers and the passes, but mainly the turnovers? You got 30 this year. Do you feel like you dodged a bullet there?
Yeah, I mean that's not the way to live your life if you want to win games. It's proven in the NFL, and so I trust our players though that they're going to get it corrected and take great ownership of it.
Is that something you need to at this stage, given what this group has accomplished and the program you've established here? I mean, do you need to is that something you need to work on this week in practice, or you even need to remind them? To what degree do you have to address that?
Yeah, valid question based on how it's been trending, right? And if I told you it helped in the weeks that I talked about it, I'd be lying. If I told you that it didn't help in the weeks I didn't talk about it, it'd be an inaccurate tendency there. So it's like I just trust the players. I trust the guys that they're gonna take ownership of it. And as we move forward here, I've got a tremendous amount of belief in them.
How do you see them take ownership of that? Like, what does that look like with Josh?
Well, I think earlier Sal, was the one that talked about smart, not conservative, and there's calculated. Anytime you have the ball in your hand, there's calculated risk involved. There's risk involved overall, and it's just an important piece of winning games. It's complementary football, and it's clear that we make it awfully hard on ourselves sometimes. Which the good part of that is that we figure out ways to win in spite of that sometimes. So, but the reality of it is it's something that you can't continue to do and expect to win games, and it is something that's been addressed directly, indirectly, and will continue to be addressed one way or the other as we continue down the road here.
Not to harp on it all, but the first 5 games of the season, you guys had 3 turnovers total in those 5 games. Then it's been 3 each the last 3. What was going so right the first 5 games?
Yeah.
The last 3?
I think I was going to church more then than I have been of late.
Well, you better get back to church.
Yeah, I'll be there twice. I'll be there twice this week. No, I mean, like I said, if I knew what it was that got us through that versus what it's been, and I'd be doing that. But again, I just come back to, for me, it's we've got players that know what's expected, and I trust them to take ownership of it.
They won some pretty big playoff games on the road last year, and some tough places to play they won this year. Did you say anything to kind of introducing this team that thought they're kind of battle tested, or the nature of their team in that regard?
We have a tremendous amount of respect for them. They're the reigning AFC champions, so I think that really is all that needs to be said in terms of the amount of respect that we have for them.
Sean, how do you deal with whatever lingering emotional residue that might be from 3 weeks ago and knowing how that game ended and now facing the same team yet again? We're humans, and we know that that Hamlin's thoughts are still up front in a lot of people's minds. How do you deal with that and address the team with that?
Well, I think the guys are in a good spot. DeMar's in the building now, almost starting daily, and so that's good news. And as he continues to improve, I think those are, that certainly helps. So that's going to be. I mean, that experience we'll carry that with us. And there's a challenge to that, but there's also a lot of good that came from that. And I think right now we need to focus on the positive. And the positives that came out of that, as opposed to the other piece of it right now.
What were, in your mind, the positives? I guess team bonding, how the team came together. In your words, what were the positives?
Well, I think just as a world, I think the biggest thing I learned as a human was, like I've said before, when people can put aside their agendas for the common good of accomplishing one goal, we can be pretty good as a society in America and in the world, for that matter. So, I'm 48 years old. I shared the story with my kids on Sunday after the New England game, because that's when I had a chance to slow down. And when you can go through your life 48 years and not really have an experience like that, and then that happens, that God's real, and that there's power in prayer, and miracles do happen.
Sean, when you say that DeMar is in the building almost daily now, can you describe that a little bit for us in terms of how he's coming along, what he's able to do, what the interaction?
Yeah, it's limited just overall, but he comes in and really just started really today or yesterday, and just trying to get back to a little bit of a routine, and just getting himself acclimated again, and taking it one step up, baby step at a time here.
Is he in meeting rooms? Or
No, just kind of, getting himself, dipping his toe back in here, and getting on the road to just getting back to himself.
Sean, how rewarding is it as a coach when you see Terrence play where he punches the ball out?
Yeah.
Tre'Davious does the same thing, kind of down the sideline. Those are things you rep every day.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty tense, especially DB coach. I'd say, how rewarding is it to see those techniques used and it come to fruition?
Yeah, big. Those guys have been working hard. John Butler, Jimmy Salgado, Bobby Babich do a good job in the back seven world of working with those guys on proper techniques to make plays on the ball. And at the end of the day, you're going to have plays that need to be made, and we're starting to make them now.
Just joining us here on CBS Sports HQ, that is Bills head coach Sean McDermott at the podium ahead of the Bills hosting Cincy in the AFC Divisional Round. You can watch that on CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, they're going to be on the call. Kick is set for 3 p.m. Eastern. You can also stream it on Paramount+.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.